All right, delighted to say that joining the channel now ahead of this big tilt this Sunday night, live and exclusive on talkSPORT 2, back off the bye and looking to get their season back fully on track. The San Francisco 49ers taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A fullback, veteran, and, well, I'm going to say friend of the show at this point. We've had him on every year for the last few years. Kyle Juszczyk is with us. Juice, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Yeah, look, really appreciate you taking the time out to speak with us. How did you enjoy the bye week? How did you enjoy getting a bit rested up? Did you manage to actually kind of get out and do anything?
Yeah, you know what? This was the first time in 8 years that my wife and I didn't actually go away. We usually take a quick trip to Cabo or Tahoe, but she's just been so busy that we really didn't have a chance to go anywhere. But it was pretty nice. I got out, I golfed 3 times. Sometimes it's nice to be able to sleep in your own bed and not have to set an alarm and not have any obligations. So I still got my rest and got to get away a little bit.
Who are you golfing with?
You know what? I golf with some of our video guys here at the team, and everybody else was out of town, so I didn't get out with any teammates.
Yeah, see, I thought you were going to be one of those guys like, no, I go out on my own, I get out on the course,
Oh,
just
I
spend
will.
3-4 hours.
I definitely will. Don't put that past me. I'll do it. But no, I had some other buddies as staff members around here. They went with me.
Is it genuinely glorious way to spend the morning? Sadly, not here at this time of year, but I imagine it's still pretty nice out there. Look, the last time that we kind of did have a chat was on the field at the Super Bowl, the beginning of the week at opening night. Yeah, it's been quite a kind of 10, 11 months since then. So coming out of that bye week, 500, where are you feeling about this team now versus, everything that's happened in 2024?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways, a lot of different angles you can, come at that one. I wouldn't say before the season that I expected to be 4-4 at this point, but having gone through everything and being in that position now, I'm very happy with where we're at. We've got everything in front of us. We feel like we got a lot of guys coming back. We got a lot of people that are rested off of this week. And man, the energy at practice yesterday was just different. It really did. It felt like we were starting a new season. And I feel like we can build off of, the good things that we did earlier in the year. And honestly, that second half against Dallas, that started to feel like Niner football. You know what I mean? Like that third quarter, we had some long drives. We finished in the end zone. Defense was playing great, getting a bunch of stops. And it started to feel like we were really starting to put things back together. So really, really excited to go out to Florida, play Tampa, and, hopefully add another win and, be on the winning side of that record.
I mean, I think both sides of the ball in that third quarter, you're absolutely bang on. And obviously seeing the defense fly around is wonderful to see. But how great is it for you guys, considering there was no Christian, there was no Juwan? Obviously, Brandon's not going to be back, but you've got rookies like Jacob and Ricky coming into the team. And yet it really did feel those 2-3 drives like complete Niner football, despite the fact that you had so many guys rotating in.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that can, go overlooked that, our number one wide receiver wasn't out there. Our number one running back who, was offensive player of the year in the NFL last season, arguably, the best player in the NFL, hasn't been on our team for 2 months. So you add that along with Juwan coming back, who we all know, what Juwan has meant to this team and what he's been able to do on third downs. And when he's been given the chance to be the guy, we saw in LA what he can do. So like, you can't help but just be optimistic and excited for, what we have coming back and what's going on going forward.
Specifically, how exciting has it been having Christian back in training this week?
I mean, it's incredible. Christian's one of my best friends. So on the personal side, it's just great to have him out there. But just as an offense, it's just such a game changer. The guy can literally do everything. He's the most well-rounded running back I've ever been around. And that just adds so much to this offense. And he's going to go out there and he's going to do great things, but it's also going to open up things for everybody else. And I think that's where you could see a larger impact, is just how much he's going to open up for the other players like George, like Debo, myself, Juwan. Having Christian out there just helps so much.
What's his response been to the team coming back into that locker room, actually being back healthy? He's not necessarily, from being around him, necessarily like a rah-rah guy or anything, but how much has it lifted the energy and how much has he been to do with that?
So much. And like I talked earlier about how yesterday's practice, it really felt like it was almost a new season and there was this special palpable energy. And I think a lot of that had to do with Christian. And he broke down the team after we warm up. It did our warm up. And he even said, he's like, I'm not a big talker, but you guys don't understand how much this means to me to be out there on the field and how much you miss it when it's taken from you. So just take advantage of those opportunities. And I think that hit home with everybody.
Let me ask you about Brock coming into this second half of the season as well, because I think, tough game against the Chiefs, but there's an argument that outside of that, you take these other 7 games as a measure for the season, and he's should be up there in the MVP conversation based on performances. So what have you seen from him going into this year, and why do you think it has stepped up to this whole other level on top of what we've seen before?
Yeah, I think Brock's done so many great things this year, and I think what we all wanted to see was that response after the Kansas City game, and I felt like he responded great. Had a great game against Dallas, and it's been really fun to see him add, his running game to his part of the game this year, and I think that's helped us tremendously. He's converted a lot of third downs with his legs. He's extended a lot of plays that have resulted in big plays because of it, and he just continues to get better and better, man. And I always want to preface, like, when I say, he's continuing to develop, continue to get better, that I think he's starting from a very high point. I think from that very first game that he stepped in against Miami as a rookie, he was playing really well. So this isn't like a guy that has started low and, we see, big improvements each week because he wasn't there already. I feel like this is a guy that was there already and he's still getting better.
What's been kind of his mentality? Because you said about that bouncing back against the Cowboys, that's what you wanted to see on the field, and certainly that's what the fans got to see. But what have you seen from him and his approach to having a moment like that and then being able to come back, and how he's been with you guys in and around the practice facility?
Brock is such a professional. He's such a great leader. You really do see the determination in his eyes. And he'll tell us, like, guys, like, count on me. Like, I got this. Like, I promise. If a mistake was made, it's not going to happen again. And we all have, the utmost confidence in him.
This game this weekend against the Bucs, a defense that started the season looking super tough. Have let up some points in recent weeks, but the one thing we do know with Todd Bowles is he's going to bring pressure. He's going to bring some wild fronts. He's going to throw stuff at you. And the last time we really saw a team do that to San Francisco this season was the Vikings. So how are you guys going to be better prepared for this game, maybe? And are you excited to get in there and start throwing some blocks and throwing your weight around?
Yeah, most definitely. I think the biggest thing is just being aware that that's, what to expect. That helps you prepare a lot. But I mean, quite honestly, I feel like every week we get defense's best, and we get the most exotic fronts and blitzes and things that you hadn't seen earlier in the year. All of a sudden they're pulling them out against us. So that's something that, I feel like outside of maybe, the Minnesota game, we've done a good job of handling. And even in the Minnesota game, we moved the ball well. We had a lot of yards. We just had some unfortunate turnovers. But that's the risk. That's when teams are moving around a lot. They're blitzing. Like, that's the risk reward is, you might be able to move the ball well, but, they can make that pay off by turning the ball over. So that's always a focus of ours, is just protecting that ball. But Tampa brings a unique challenge. They've got good players at all 3 levels. I just think maybe they have some young guys that have had some breakdowns, here recently. But we're always expecting their best, and it's going to be a great challenge for us.
Has there been much talk around the facility about what the second half of this season looks like? Like, I know the stock answer is we just look to go 1-0 every week. We focus on the next opponent, but I look at that next kind of 9 weeks, and there's only one team currently not in a playoff position or a divisional rival, and you've got the Bucs, the Packers, the Bills, the Seahawks over like the next 4 weeks. somebody asked me the other day about how I thought the 49ers were going to do in the second half of this year. And my feeling is if they're a playoff team and if they go there as a division winner, they're going to have had to have gone through fire to do it. And that's going to be maybe the best thing that can happen to them going into January. So is that anything that you guys have talked about? Is there anything that you guys have looked at and said, look, this is going to be tough, but we think we can do it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm being honest. We don't look that far ahead. It's you're really kind of in that 1 to 2 week scope that you're really looking at because so much changes. And by the time we get to December and we're playing Buffalo or whoever it is, I mean, you just never know. Like, all right, how things have changed. What position are they in now? Teams that we thought were at the top of the league 5 weeks ago, may be at the bottom now or kind of in the middle. So it doesn't do a lot of good to look too far ahead. But I think every single season, there's always kind of that what you call like the gauntlet part of your schedule. I think you see that in every schedule, and I think we've responded to that well and done well in those situations. So we really will handle it 1 week at a time. But our biggest focus, what we've been really like trying to press home with everyone is just becoming the best football team we can be. Like each week, getting the most out of each practice, each game, getting better going forward. And knowing that the team that we have right now is not the best team that we're going to have by the end of the season. And we're going to need more to win these big games at the end of the season. So we feel like we still have development to go while we still win these games.
You've given us so much time. We really appreciate it. And you've got so much more prep to do for Sunday. So this is the very last one from me, I promise. But we got a little chance to speak with Ricky yesterday. Ricky Pearsall, rookie wide receiver. Obviously, his story has been told across every news outlet in the world over the last kind of 4 months. Just from your perspective, your view of that young man, what he's done coming back into the facility after what he went through and how impressed you've been with him coming into this team and those last 2 starts.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been truly unbelievable. So proud of him and how he's handled everything. He's so open to being coaching, to getting advice from veterans. He works his tail off. He's so resilient. I mean, what a thing to come back from. And I think he's played really, really well in his opportunities that he has come back. And I think he's just going to get better and better each week. So I'm just so stoked for what he's done and what he's going to do going forward.
Love it. Juice, always a pleasure. Thank you so much, sir. Enjoy this weekend and fingers crossed, more positive conversations down the line.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.